Hi, today I'm going to talk about gold. Start again. Hi, today I'm going to talk about Bitcoin, gold and silver. Here is a gold coin. Focus. There's a gold coin, solid gold, 1 ounce, worth about £1,000 sterling, about $1,200 odd dollars. This is a ounce of silver coin, worth about £15 maybe, $18, that kind of thing. And here is a Bitcoin. Now you may think there's a lot of difference between these three coins, but in fact they're remarkably similar, because what we value them at is based on human opinion. But there's really no more value in this coin than there is in a Bitcoin. It's purely a matter of opinion. Certainly we know the current price. We can go on to numerous websites. We can see the quote for gold, the quote for silver, and the quote for Bitcoin. And you may say, well, the gold and the silver are a much better bet. They've been around for thousands of years, and we take some comfort maybe from that. But ultimately, if you look at the chart going back 10, 20 years, you'll see the price fluctuates a lot, and it's really a matter of opinion, and there's no reason why Bitcoin should fall back any more sharply than gold or silver. In fact, we're seeing the opposite. We're seeing Bitcoin shoot ahead, and the other cryptocurrencies, whereas gold and silver are currently stalling. I'm looking at this in a bit more detail later in this presentation. Right, I just want to give you a brief outline. One of the charts I'm going to show you shortly is the depreciation in the Roman denarius around AD 56 to 256 AD or thereabouts. At that point, the Roman authorities reduced the silver content, remember this stuff here, in the denarius from I think almost 100% down to I think less than 1%, thus achieving what our governments today achieve by a more mechanical process. But the Romans, I say, just use a mechanical process, whereas these days the governments have far more wonderful and varied ways of knocking the six out of our currency. Now, it's quite important that it's important to realise that if you debase the currency, you actually destroy the economy, and you can in fact destroy the whole empire, as the Romans found to their cost. I think it was Lenin who said that there's no surer way of debasing a country than by debasing the currency, and that was quoted by one of our more famous economists, whose name I will remind myself of when we get to the presentation of the charts, etc. Now, it's because of this drop in the value of our various currencies, dollars, euros, pounds, etc., etc., that I believe is fueling the price rises in the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin in particular. Plus, of course, the way that you can transfer currencies around the world. So the Chinese have a fairly oppressive government as regards to currency restrictions. So by using Bitcoin, the Chinese can get cash out of China around the world, and it's this kind of usefulness added to a distrust of governments, added to the need to be able to circumvent their regulations, which become more and more oppressive all the time as far as I can see. Although of course I live in Spain, and Europe is a much more I think fair-minded, although I think that's changing as well to an extent as the politicians get ever more desperate for more and more cash. I'd say the Romans did this first, or perhaps not first, but that's the first example I'm aware of, and of course prehistory was beyond 3,000 years BC, so I mean, the Romans were the first millennium after Christ, so we're looking as far back as we can go. Perhaps I'm not sure we have records of the Babylonians and various other sort of civilizations which existed prior to that. So anyway, one of the points I want to make is that it's my view that as a economy evolves, as an empire grows, that it's probably inevitable that the currency will get debased. We all want more all the time. We want better standards of living, better quality of living, etc., etc. The politicians want to get re-elected, and they want to spend money. And I think it's probably inevitable that this debasement will take place. Now, it's a good thing when it starts. For example, the whole process begins, I think, when you can borrow money to buy your house. Now, that's clearly a good thing. I did that myself. You've got somewhere to live. You take pride in where you're living. It's a great step to improving your quality of life. But as you repeat that process again and again and again, all this cash flows into the system, and you get the situation where you get currency debasement. And it goes too far. I think it's part of the human experience that everything is taken to an extreme, and it becomes a problem, which is as we're facing now. As money flows into the various assets that are around the place, those assets become overvalued, even on the basis of the devalued currency. I mean, for example, the US dollar in 71, $1 then is now 3 cents now. I mean, that's a 33% depreciation. Sorry, 33 times depreciation, 3,300% in 40 odd years. That's a fairly incredible amount. It's much easier to become a millionaire today, for example. It's 33 times easier to become a millionaire today than it was in 1971, because the value of the millionaire's holdings are reduced by 33 times. So what's worth $1 million in 1971 dollars is now worth about 30,000 today. So, a millionaire today is nowhere near what he was back at that point in history.